Man. We're gonna call this one the dark. The dark. The DARK. That's what we're gonna call it. The dark. So I was like, dating this chick, what I mean? She was cool. We had a little history from the past where we, knew each other from growing up around each other, but had never, really, you know, took it there, but we was aware of each other and, we weren't strangers. We had been cordial, but we hadn't seen each other in a while, so ended up running back into each other, through some other mutual friends. And then, tapped in and connected online. That was cool. So we started, trying to get things, back going, see if we can get it back cracking. So, you know, I say, for a good probably 2 years, let's say year and a half, for a good year and a half, almost 2 years, it was popping, man. It was cool. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Went out, went to events, went to get food, posted up, watching movies, television programs, smoking, getting right, everything was going good, man. For almost 2 years, man. But like it was like a couple of things, man. Like one, I didn't like that she like smoked like Black and Miles. You know what I mean? I don't even smoke like 6 cigarettes or, an occasional cigar if it's something to celebrate. But like I don't smoke cigarettes or blacks. You know what I mean? I might smoke a blunt, something like that. But she was smoking straight Black and Miles. The motherfuckers was loud, like a trucker, like a trucker's overalls. The motherfuckers was loud. You smell that shit, it smelled like, you know what I mean? Big Daddy up in that motherfucker or something. It's her ass. And that motherfucker smoking like a trucker. Didn't like that. I told her. And she knew, she knew that it was kind of like a turn off. And, she was trying to stop, but you know how that shit is when people be addicted, to their low habits or whatever. People got their habits. There ain't nothing they can do about it. It's just they stuck. Lack of discipline, call it whatever. But I wasn't smoking no fucking Black and Miles. That shit was getting in the way. You know what I mean? Imagine that. I got weed blunt breath and you got Black and Mild breath. It's like everybody got the dragon in this month. Dragon wars. But yeah, so that was one thing that I really wasn't feeling. You know what I mean? But, I was keeping it moving though, because everything else was cool. And then, it was another weird thing, man. Like, anytime we was, together or whatever, I could, I could touch her. I could touch her, and, I could touch on her or whatever and fully be with her, but I could never see her. You know what I'm talking about? She always want to, be in the dark or under the covers or under a towel or under a blanket or, you know what I mean? Always wanted to be like covered up. I didn't know what was happening though. So, I wasn't tripping. You know what I mean? I've been around strippers who jump right out their clothes because they used to being naked in front of niggas and it don't mean shit. And, they used to being naked in front of bitches in the locker room. They've been stripping for years and it's nothing to them. Dancers and shit, I done dated them. Come right out their clothes like nothing. Ain't shy, nothing. Bitch be undressed before you. You still over there fucking with a belt buckle. She naked. So I done been with them. And then I done been with the shy girls that, whatever. You know what I mean? Know she ought to be at the gym. And bitch got them rolls or whatever. Want to be under the covers when a nigga come out the bathroom. Or, you know what I mean? Want to be covered all up. Acting like she don't want to be seen. But she about to be seen because we about to be in the middle of it. You know what I'm talking about? So, having the experience when you done been on both sides of that, it ain't no big deal when a female be acting shy or like she don't want you to see her or nothing. It ain't like you're gonna make no big deal out of it. But after almost 2 years, I was just curious, man. Curiosity was killing me. Like, what's wrong with this bitch? Like, we be in the dark and we be together, we be under the covers, we be whatever, but she only want to be in the dark. She don't ever want to do nothing in the light, and she don't ever want me to see her. And I don't know why. I see her face, I see her toes, I see her hands, I see her arms, I see her kneecaps. It's like, why I can't see, your private parts? You know what I mean? I see your ass, but you won't let me see your breasts, and you won't let me see, what I'm saying, in the front. So I'm not knowing what's up. So after like, it was going on, like I said, it was a year and a half, so it was almost 2 years. So like, finally it started causing problems to where, I started asking more questions, and then she didn't really she really wasn't with trying to tell me what was happening. It took her a minute. And then I think when she saw that I wasn't going to, let up off the question or whatever, because it had been a minute, almost 2 years. That's a long ass time. So she seen I wasn't going to really let up off the question or whatever. So then, I guess she started trying to politic how to break it to me or how to tell me or whatever, and then she just kept saying, we was going to talk about it. And then that shit went on for a couple of, weeks, like 6 weeks, damn near 2 months. She just did not want to, come clean. You know what I mean? She did not want to tell me what was happening. So finally, we was at a breaking point. You know what I mean? You know how you can feel that tension if you're in a relationship with somebody, business, personal, or intimate, whatever. You could tell when that tension right there or whatever. So finally, it was time to break that tension, because you could tell it was super thick. So she was like, look, I don't want you to judge me. I don't want you to leave me alone. I'm going to tell you what happened. You know what I mean? But I don't want you to like hold it against me. I was just like, nah, I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? It's some old shit. You know what I mean? Like, why would I? It probably ain't got nothing to do with us. If it ain't got nothing to do with us, then, I probably ain't gonna look at it no kind of way. And I definitely wouldn't hold something that don't got nothing to do with us and it's old. I wouldn't hold that against you, because that don't have nothing to do with us. And it's some old shit. Like, everybody came from somewhere. Everybody got a past. I wasn't really tripping. So I spent the next couple of weeks just trying to basically reassure her that, I was with it. I wasn't going nowhere. I ain't been nowhere. I've been right there. So like, I wouldn't switch up like that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't switch up like that. That ain't my get down. So, I guess after she felt comfortable enough to say something, she just told me. She just broke it down. Like, look, I used to be in an abusive relationship when I was younger. I was with the dude for a long time. He was older than me. He was jealous. He was super jealous. He used to be beating on me and thugging on me and all of that. And, I was too young and dumb and naive to get away from him. And I thought that's what real love was. And I thought he loved me. And I thought I was in love with him. And, whoa, whoa, whoa. She went into all the little details about they tumultuous, abusive relationship. So I'm just like listening to the shit. I'm trying to like, you know what I mean? Trying to get this bitch a roadmap so she get to the point, so we can get where we going. Cause she just going all around the long way, giving me the long extended version. She could have gave me the motherfucking Cliff Note version. Bitch, what happened? You know what I'm saying? But like, nah, she didn't do that. I guess she was trying to like prepare me for the shit. So she basically said, she used to be like, by herself a lot, because I guess he was in the street, you know what I mean? He'll leave her, at the house or whatever, and he'd be in the street doing his street thing. And, she'd get lonely or whatever. So, sometimes she would, how would you say it with these weirdos on the internet? Every platform I got be wilding. TikTok want to kick a nigga off. Instagram threatening a nigga got me restricted. I can't go live. Next, Facebook could be tripping because they owned by the same motherfucking Meta platform. I don't know how to say it. Let me see. How would I word this? Okay. She would miss this dude, so she would self-pleasure herself. Let's say that. She would self-pleasure herself because he'd be gone a lot. If your wording ain't right on this motherfucker, they get to wilding out. But anyway, Like they don't know what the real world is. Now, I done seen females having babies in bathtubs and having sex with horses and all kind of shit, and they act like a motherfucker say a couple of words. Oh, that goes against our community standards and guidelines. Fuck out of here. I'm so tired of this shit. But anyway, yeah, the dude would be gone long spaces of time and leave her by herself. So, she'd be missing that dude. She only human, so of course, she might, self-pleasure herself or whatnot. So she would do that from time to time, during the relationship that she was in with him. So I guess in their relationship, he found out about her, doing that. And, he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with the fact that, she would self-pleasure herself sometimes, with her little toy or with her hand or whatever. He wasn't with it. So what he did was he put some cough syrup or some kind of drug up in her drink. Went and got her some food. It was a night where he went and picked up the little food. So, went to the burger stand and got her food that she wanted. And they was eating or whatever, and he slipped something up in her, up in her soda pop, her lemonade, whatever the fuck her drink was. Nigga slipped something up in there. And she finished her food, finished her drink or whatever, passed the fuck out. Like whatever the fuck he put in there knocked her down. And man, when she was out, like she was out. This wasn't like no, oh, I'm still, I'm unconscious, but I could hear what's going on in the room, or I'm unconscious, but I could still see what's happening around me. It wasn't one of them type of things. It was like whatever he gave her, it really knocked her down. And then while she was unconscious, my man's took like a hot knife that he used to carry. He used to carry a knife. He took this knife, man, and he basically mutilated her, and while she was passed out, he mutilated her. He mutilated her beyond the point of where, he felt satisfied that she couldn't self-pleasure herself, or no shit like that. She kept trying to explain that shit to me, but I'm like, come on, man. I couldn't even fathom. You know what I'm talking about? We in the dark for 2 years because you don't got no clitoris and your nipples have been, mutilated by this dude with a big lighter and a hot knife, hot pocket knife, or, whatever knife he used to carry, and it's like, it's wild, man. These females be in abusive relationships, dog, they come with a lot of mileage and a lot of trauma. And sometimes we don't know what the fuck done happened to them, but we be calling them crazy and this and that. And, they might be, after some of the shit they went through, because like, I could not believe that you would allow someone to mutilate you, mutilate your sexual organs, like, because they jealous of you being, you self-pleasuring, it's just like you being with yourself when they not around. And then you stood for that. You didn't like try to go to the police or the doctor. You didn't like, what you do, Like, nah, she was in love. It was an abusive relationship. She didn't know no better. She was young, he was older. She let the dude do it and get away with it. And she was living with it. Now that's how she lived with it. When she with somebody, she, standoffish and, she not as intimate as she would have been. And, then she have to like, she can't have a clitoral like orgasm. She got to have another kind because that part of the stimulation has been removed from her. That area, my man spurned her up. Cold game, man. Super cold game, man. I felt bad, after she told me or whatever. I felt real bad about that shit, but it's like, everybody got their experiences that we go through as human beings, you know what I'm saying? And, professional relationships, business relationship, work relationships, intimate relationships, we all got our ups and downs, but that was like a cold roller coaster ride, for almost 2 years. And I ain't never been able to really see her except, we in the dark all the time. I could feel her and touch her, but I can't see her. So when she finally, turned them lights on and showed me what was up, then I seen why she was in the dark for like almost 2 years, bro, because it was bad, homie. It was pretty bad, homie. And it was cold because it was in situations where, she'd be hooking me up. And, I'm a Virgo, man. I'm a freak. I might be like, what's happening with that 69? We could, hook each other up. And she would never do it. And I just didn't know why. Cause like, who don't want to catch that nut? I'm like, you ain't trying to catch that nut? But like, nah, she didn't want me looking at that. You know what I mean? She didn't want me down there visually. You know what I mean? Maybe my hands, maybe my body parts, but she didn't want me looking physically at her like that because she was extremely uncomfortable with the scarring and the mutilation, which, like I said, after the fact, I definitely understood that. So, yeah, man, it's kind of wild, man. She's got to kind of like, everybody grew up how they grew up, and you never know what's in somebody's background or childhood or upbringing. You just gotta, keep your head on a swivel, you pay attention, use common sense, and sometimes when something seems like it's off, you know what I mean, trust your gut instinct. Like you got that to save your life. You got that for a reason. Don't, you know what I mean? If you think something off, don't be so stuck or so, into the situation where you won't ask the right questions. Sometimes you could get the right answer if you ask the proper question. And then sometimes people will, deflect, evade, you know what I mean? Redirect. You know what I'm talking about? We know about that. That's regular stuff when you're talking to somebody and they trying to beat around the bush or be indirect as opposed to direct about the situation currently at hand. So, yeah, man, it was just sad. She's a beautiful person with a beautiful personality. She talked to me right. She looked good. You know what I mean? High yellow, red bone, pretty hair, pretty feet. You know what I mean? Pretty toes, just the whole nine, man. Dimple, pretty smile, just ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? Nice body, but yeah, abused when she was, at a younger age to a point to where, her self-confidence was kind of, messed up behind the mutilation. And like I said, once I saw it, I definitely understood, what was up. I understood that. And I just felt it was tragic and very sad. So, y'all stay safe and productive out there, man. You never know what somebody going through. You never know what somebody in the middle of. You never know what somebody's been through. So, keep that in mind, man. Most of us human beings, if we reach a certain age, we've probably experienced more likely than not some type of trauma. So like nobody's really okay. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got something if you dig deep enough. And again, if you ask the right questions. So yeah, man, that was just, something I never told nobody. Another one of those late night confessions. Something that went down that, it took me a minute to figure out, and after I figured it out, I knew what was up. I understood why she was being protective and treating the situation that way. And then, I believe that in other situations that she had been in, I believe she was more open and upfront. And then them people didn't want to deal with the damage. Like those people didn't want to deal with the damaged version that was left. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't front on her like that. Like I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like that was before me. I don't have nothing to do with that. I didn't do it to you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I was right there. I wasn't gonna dip on her like that. But I think because of the way other people handled the information when they received it, prior to me getting there, she wasn't with it no more. She wasn't in a situation where she was just gonna show you that or tell you that shit up front because of the results and the reaction that she was gonna get if she did. You know what I'm saying? And she had already done it, so she knew better, which I also understood. But I didn't want to be left in the dark, so to speak. No pun intended. Everything we was doing was in the dark. I didn't want to be in the dark no more. I wanted to know what was happening. I wanted to see her. She was beautiful. I wanted to look at her. You know what I mean? Beautiful from head to toe. So, yeah, man, y'all just be careful, man, because like I said, you never know what somebody going through. You never know where somebody coming from. You never know where somebody's headed. And you never know what somebody's been through. You know, so just keep that in mind, man, as y'all try to navigate, you know, out here in the dating world. Shit's like a war zone. You know what I'm talking about? Put your foot on a landmine. You know what happened? You step on a landmine. You know, if you make it out alive, you definitely ain't got no foot. Maybe not no leg up to the knee. Maybe you lost the whole thing. You know what I'm talking about? You got that prosthetic or them crutches or that wheelchair. You step on a landmine, you don't always survive that. And that's how this dating world is now out here, man, with everything going on. You know what I mean? X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It's all popping. I'm a cat, I'm a dog, I'm a tree, I'm a little teapot. It's like everybody's everything. It's wild out here, man. You know what I mean? So y'all just, you know, keep your head on the swivel, man. Stay doing what you do. Try to stay up out the twist. You know what I'm saying? Like windshields. Stay up out the twist like that donut. I'm out your face, man, like a buff puff. I'm out your ear like a used Q-tip, man. Your boy gone.